Hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. Forgive me for eating because I haven't had a chance for breakfast yet because this morning has been a little crazy, which is why I'm late to stream. Even though I set the schedule this morning, so I shouldn't be late, but, you know, that's how life goes sometimes. Alright, I'm going to do the thing. So today is Tuesday. As any of you who watch the stream regularly know, Tuesday is my Warhammer 40k day. They, them vibes today. Gender is weird today. So more they, them. He or she is fine, by the way. I'm pretty chill. Right, so, it's Tuesday. Now, as I was saying, those of you who watch the stream fairly regularly would know that Tuesday and Thursday are usually my Warhammer 40k days. Here's the thing. I probably should have... We could start this next week. I think having 2 days a week for Warhammer 40k, as awesome as Warhammer 40k is, and all this epic world that we're building, there are too many cool stuff, and I need more days of the week to, spread out the stream schedule, and I could do every other, but given my own mental capacity for organizing and remembering stuff, I highly doubt that's going to be anyone helpful. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a type-up day today, I think. Because we have to do a lot of those anyway. We're going to type-up day. I'll put up the Warhammer 40k banner. Because I'm not really boring. Nope. Alright. We're going to put this up. Yeah, we're going to do a type-up day today. So, whenever I stream, I had in the past. This is also just begging to fall over and spill cereal everywhere, and I do not want that to happen. Not live on stream, not in general, and especially not when I'm live on stream. Do not fall. I have this notebook. This is Oliarch, a druid who we typed up, and the rest of his character sheet was on this page that fell out. Luckily, we typed it up. We've been doing type-ups for various things. I think we're due for a type-up day. My plan, I realized that having the pencil and paper, as much as I love pen and paper note-taking, having it on stream is a little weird because you're always looking at the top of my head. So today, we're going to have to type this all up. Plus, then I can just... have searchable catalogs, and it doesn't, fall apart like this one is, because we just stream so much. Okay. Plus, type up goes, it's kind of fun. A chill, low-pressure stream. Oh, yes, but first I have to do the... usual, usual prereq of telling everyone I'm live so that... Oh, Sig did the thing. Okay, that's for later. That is for after go... This is for after, first streaming. So what I usually do is I'd pop into a bunch of various Discord, and I tell people I'm live, and then so that so we're doing a type-up stream today. Let me... Also, if you are watching, we have one person watching, so... Which, my views have known to have been wrong. If you do happen to be the one who's watching, come and say hi. I always appreciate it. And, yep, it automatically puts my writing up. Okay, good. Warhammer 40k is pretty awesome. Arcana, Expectus Primus. So, I started out with this ship called the Expectus Primus. I think I want to say B named it. Another fun thing about being in my chat is you get to name planets and cities and all sorts of other stuff. Like, I'll say, okay, well, now we have a city, and then someone will say, hey, can we call it Cucumber? And I'm like, okay. We have an entire planet that has, that most of the major cities are named for cucumber in various languages because of an in-joke on another stream that someone in my stream was kind of excited about, and I just kind of went with it. This is what happens. Hi. Good morning. Let's see. We're doing a 40k type-up stream today. Because we're long overdue for a type-up stream, and I'm gonna start... You're gonna think I'm crazy. Maybe we'll just do type-up streams on Tuesdays. That's what we'll do. Okay. New plan. Yes, I will do 40k type-up today and, like, stuff. That's how we'll play it. But I have a plan. You're gonna think this is crazy. But I could only do I could do Warhammer 40k on Tuesday. No, I should do... Today is Warhammer 40k type-up. I'm gonna change it so I'm not doing 2 days a week on Warhammer 40k. I'm only doing 1 day a week. Not because I don't love 40k and the lore dumping about how awesome the Imperium... Okay, the Imperium isn't awesome in the sort of way that it would be a good place to live. It's awesome in that it's interesting in the way it's fabricated. And Goj Vandire, the whole thing with Goj Vandire is just... Like, it's built-in parable about the separation of church and state. Just perfectly encapsulated on how screwed up the Imperium is, and you got the Adeptus Arrest out of it. Like, come on. Anyway, my point on Warhammer 40k and being awesome is that we're going down to 1 day a week because there's so many awesome, cool stuff in the world. There's so many different worlds and things and places that I want to stream, and I can only do 6 to 7 streams a week, and maybe I'll squeeze another one in tonight. But I only have so many streams, and I can only do so many streams per week. For a week, I can't do 6 or 7 streams a night. 2, that's true. Oh, but also I need to. Believe me, I saw that I haven't read it yet, but I saw that you did the thing, and I'm going to reply. Okay. We do the thing where we pop into that one and say, hey, No, you know what? We don't. We don't do the thing. We're going to do this thing. It's fine. Hi. Let's see. So, cantrips, Cloud. Oh, Cloud's an elf. Right. Cloud is an elf. I came up with the name Cloud, and then I was asking, and everyone's like, that's a pretty good name, and so we did it. Let me, so our typing, for Expectus Primus, we typed up Visaria. If you have a blue rock, you paint it with pink splotches. Everyone knows that. It's polka dot, which would be really cool. Also, I need to work out a streaming schedule that's not crazy, but okay. So we got Janthine, gear, implants, then we got Odette. Yes, we were doing Odette. So there's Visaria. That's Janthine's homeworld, but we already typed up. I think we typed up. We typed up Visaria, pretty much all of it, right? We double checked that. We did that. We did the cities. Oh yes, that's yes. Ooh, who's half brothers? Oh. Oh, right. The rescue of the yes. Right, the rescue from the, let's see. Press gang, by expeditions, old mines that have been flooded. Let me just double check that we got all of Visaria, and then we'll go back to Odette, I promise. Pink and blue rocks. Yes. Oh, and Janthine needs her name capitalized. That is important. Yes. Okay, excellent. Buried beneath the waves of the technological wonders. Where flooded, find major strife that buried beneath the waves. Yes. Yep, pretty much all of it. Okay, cool. I mean, I don't mind. Sex bots get bored too. As long as they're not disruptive or racist, I don't mind having the bots. Like, they can vibe in the chat and, you know, try to offer me followers or whatever. Like, I don't mind. They can hang out. It's cool. Oh. But weird, Odette, talent, sound constitution. What else do we have for Odette? That might be it. Hang on. No, but we'd have to type up her gear, which means we'd have to bring up the Majiggy Whatsits. Hang on. Gear, talents, sound constitution. Yes, okay, gear. I mean, if you want to play blackjack, if you want to hire, a couple of sex workers and play blackjack on stream, I'll watch the stream. Schedule at a time I'm not working and I'll watch. I'm not opposed to this. Yes, I've seen Futurama. I know the reference. But gear. Oh, she's a mono edge machete. So, basically, any bender is pretty cool. I think there was one bender quote. That I'm gonna bend the door. Door's made of wood. I'm pretty sure it won't bend. And then he kind of turns to Fry. You know that, and I know that, but that door looks pretty dumb. And he just bends. And I think that's kind of, sometimes D&D be like that. Is just like that. Oh, mono edge machete. So, okay, now I need to know if that's actually how you spell machete. We're doing spell check. Machete. Oh. Broad blade used either as an agricultural implement similar to an axe or combat like a long-bladed knife. Okay, yes. So, blades. I mean, oh, so, Odette. Oh yeah, Odette was Voidborn. But the thing about Odette, monoblade. So basically, monoblades are, it's future tech that you create a sword that is, or any kind of blade, really. I had someone who had a mono edge shield, actually, that you could fling around like Captain America and decapitate people with. It's kind of awesome. But anyway, basically, mono edged it's basically the blade is so thin that it's pretty much one molecule around. So it is, and basically the smaller the surface of the blade, the more pressure you can apply, the sharper it is. That's how blades work. You make the blade itself big with the edge very small. That's how, and sharp. You make the very edge sharp while the rest of it's not too thin, so it's not brittle. That's how edges work. And cutty stuff works. But if you can get it one molecule thick, it is extremely sharp. I am showing that I still have internet. Seems fun, I have full internet. Like, usually the internet dies. It hasn't died. Good. Oh, it probably just does automatic ad breaks. It does that sometimes. it will, if you watch the stream for any length of time, it will decide that it's time for you to run, see an advertisement, and it will do that. And then give me 2 cents, so, like a couple pennies. So, you know. Fair enough. If you hang around long enough, Timeline's wife, Kayla, might give out subs again, and then you don't have any ads. But then, of course, I know it's a lot to ask, though. Mono-edged. Oh, she's got bolt pistols, too. Bolt pistols are... Okay, so she has a machete, but that has an edge like that. That's super thin edge. And 2 bolt pistols. Bolt pistols are... They're like they're regular pistol-y size, maybe a little on the big side. The guns are bolt shells. Exactly, that's the idea, is that it helps me out a lot. And then you get to watch ad-free, so it's like bonus. I appreciate people giving me subs because I am not exactly impoverished, but I don't have a lot of extra money to throw around, and, you know, I appreciate the support for the other channels. I'm not having to watch the ads, so, you know. No more cereal. Okay. No more cereal means I don't get any more cereal, but it also means it's not going to go careening to the ground and spill milk everywhere. So, you know. There's that. Okay. Bolt pistols. Oh, bolt pistols. Bolters. So bolters are... Okay, the original bolters, ready? Are Space Marines. And they're... I appreciate that. Don't think I don't appreciate the active banter in the chat. It helps the stream a lot because I work better. I get less distracted when I have someone to play off of in the chat. Oh. So, bolters, though, are like... They're... Okay, so the Marine-sized bolt... The Space Marine bolters are like... The bullets that they shoot are about yay big. And, inside is like an explosive. So it hits, and then the bullet explodes. It's kind of like hollow. It's like So, I know bullets... The idea behind bullets is that they are... the idea behind bullets is that there's a small explosion, and then it shoots, and then it goes really fast, and then it hits something, and because it's going super fast and very small area, it applies a lot of pressure, and it's very, very painful. That's the theory behind bullets, is they go very, very fast, and because force is mass and acceleration, if it goes really, really fast, it hits with a lot of force, if you have a, even if it's not very heavy, and therefore causes catastrophic internal damage, and is painful, and you do not want to get shot, and destructive, and loud, and all that. But, so the idea behind bullets is there is a small explosion that sets off the powder that makes it go very fast. Bolters are an explosion, so... There's the explosion to set them off, right? That fires them, because that's how guns work. There's a secondary explosion. So you shoot it, and then it hits the target, and there is a secondary explosion, and then... Okay. I'm okay. I'm fine. Oh, wow, I'm fine. Oh, Cinder. Sorry, Cinder is drop dead hottie, by the way. He is gorgeous. I might not be one, but men are still sexy, and Cinder is beautiful. Oh, Cinder. Okay. That's why I've convinced myself I was a straight woman for so long, is because men are... I just, you know... Although girls, and anyway. I'm alive. Oh, but bolters. So there's a secondary explosion when it hits it, so which just cause massive excess damage, and you can, like, if you hit that in someone's brain, it pops through their skull and then explodes inside their skull if you have a bolt pistol. So bolt pistols, the bullets are not that much bigger than regular bullets, but they also have a secondary explosion thing. Okay, I don't know who Lenny Kravitz. I feel like that's someone I should know. The name sounds familiar. Like if I. Ooh. I probably know some of his music, but he's dang. Okay. All right. Interesting. That is a wise choice of model for Cinder. Oh, right. I'm supposed to be Odette. Right. I'm focusing. I'm learning to focus. Okay. 2 bolt pistols. So basically a gun that has bullets that also have a secondary explosive inside them that goes off when it hits stuff. It's kind of awesome. Microbead, obviously. Just don't get your hair wet, or your head too wet. A void suit, in case she has to go out. Because she was born on a ship. Oh, Odette's ship. We'll put on, we'll type that up later, because she's, I have that, I think that's the next, no, the next one is the Expectus Primus. That's Zeptech the Kobold. Okay, that's a completely different universe. Okay. So but Odette has a void suit. Enforcer light carapace armor, always good. I probably should write down. How much extra armor that gives her. Okay. No, we agreed with the first one. Get 1 extra capital armor, right? Yes. Let's see. Yes. Now we get. Bolt shell keepsake. Just basically a small bolt shell from a fight she had. Let's see what. Probably from. Let's see. Bolt shell keepsake. Yes. Do not forget medication. Absolutely. Make sure no one loses it. Always get your meds on time. That is important. Also, if anyone else in the chat needs to take meds, consider this your reminder. Go take them. It's important. I remembered mine last night, and I take them before bed. But just remember, take your meds. It's important. Worth noting. Handy dandy reminders. Okay. Let's see. Med kit. She has a med kit. Okay, she just has a random set of manacles. I feel like there's a story behind that. And, ooh, she got the drugs. Sorry. Okay. Let's see. Oh, right, the Administratum ship. We have to figure that out. Percus. The atmosphere, then Hamish, yes. Thraxis. Okay. Expectus Primus. Did we? The Sword Class Frigate. -2 on all repair. Okay. -20 on all Okay, this ship does not like to be fixed. Okay. Okay. Sure. This ship really does not like... Oh, right, because it's got the teleportarium, and that's weird and confusing, and... Yeah, but they have, like, a gajillion Mechanicus people on board, so it's fine, but... You probably get, like, a +40 bonus because they're mechanic... Okay, it's fine. Because it has ancient technology that no one knows how to work anymore. Okay. That's why we get the, Yep. Okay. Well, that's why we get that. Okay, there's that. Okay, let me think this through. Okay. 2 turrets, hang on. Oh yes, and we could type up the components. Ooh, it can teleport individuals through the warp. That is... Oh, right, that's what a teleportarium does. Okay. So, are we gonna write down everything we got? Or are we just gonna write... That's a question, isn't it? Well, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I think we should... So it's got the basic life support. Woodsman quarters, not, press gang quarters. Power is... Did we put this down? Hang on, where do we put that? Hang on, Rothful. I had that written down. Oh, space, right, I had the space 40, okay. Alright, you know what, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do the nitty-gritty of the ship. I am, There's 40 space. Okay. We're gonna write this all down. I'm gonna bring up the... It's gonna be fun. We're gonna do the nitty-gritty of the ship. Of the, Expectus Primus. I think that'd be cool. Yeah. Let's see. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna... Hi. Let's see. Open this up. Rogue Trader Core Rulebook. Okay. Alright, so it goes over the... I'll have to remember that. That it goes over... Okay, so we're putting this up. I have to remember that it goes over the... let me just scoot a little bit. This? No, it's this way. Right, so we just... Okay. There we go. That centers me a little better and gives me a good place to be. We'll just have to remember to put it back later. It's fine. What else? Okay. I do have tea here because it is afternoon tea with Lee. It is not yet afternoon, but I figure it's gonna be at least noon before I finish the stream. So I figure we can do it like that. Let's focus. Nitty gritty. Okay. So the way ships work, because, let's see. Ship. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Armory, character creation. We did that. Career path, skills, psychic. We should probably... I should probably brush up on that. I fudge skill checks all the time. It's terrible. Okay. Talents, description. I should probably write down what the talents do. Movement, navigator powers, mutations, shenanigans, starships. Okay. Okay. Anatomy of a starship. Let's start with this. In the 41st millennium, a spacefaring vessel is rare and precious. Ships take decades, even centuries, to build if the builders have the required skill and knowledge base in the first place. It is rare to find a new starship. Most are hundreds or thousands of years old. Some date back to the earliest days of the Imperium. Therefore, ships are never mass-produced, and even two ships of the same class are rarely alike. A lunar-class cruiser produced by the shipyards of Mars will be vastly different from another lunar hailing from the docks of Port Rath. However, regardless of class or configuration, all ships share certain components and design similarities. All starships, for example, require plasma drives to propel them through space, armor and void shields to protect them, and a hull to contain these systems. And Rogue Trader ships have components, the various parts that make up the starship. Some of these are vital, such as life support system and genitoria facilities. Without them, the ship will not function. Others, such as weapon batteries or luxury passenger quarters, are useful but not essential. A ship's components, in turn, affect the ship's characteristics. These characteristics are similar to characteristics of a Rogue Trader player. They represent various abilities of a ship. I did one ship-to-ship combat once, the entire time I played Rogue Trader, and the players didn't really vibe with it, so I just never did again, and now they just are on the ship all the time. They're either on the ship or they're down on a planet's, getting into trouble there, not fighting other ships. So I generally don't bother with the ships so much, but I do. It is interesting, and it is, worth noting how ships work, because it's an interesting system. Okay, speed measures how fast a ship can move in real space. Maneuverability, how fast it can move through the warp is just... That's all relative and confusing and depends on how good your navigator is. Measuring how fast you can go through the warp is kind of... It definitely... different ships definitely do better or worse, but it's not a... It's not the same way you can measure how fast, like, an engine goes on land speed, you know what I mean? Or space speed, as the case may be. But, yeah, I mean, if you can find one with his pants off, people still look like themselves. People still look like themselves with their pants off. Fun fact, you don't suddenly look much better when you're naked. You just get to see more of you. Although, to be fair, Laura Palmer, playing Irene Adler in Battle Dress, which is just a face full of brilliantly done makeup, was my awakening to how beautiful women can be, because, dang, just... She rocks it, basically. Let's see. Oh, yes, deflection. Maneuverability measures how quickly a ship can change direction, avoid obstacles, and evade incoming fire. Detection measures the power of a vessel's auspex and augers, how well they can see their surroundings. Void shields create an insubstantial energy barrier around the ship to protect it from enemy attacks. Always useful. Armor protects the ship from incoming weapons fire, as well as collisions from celestial dust, rocks, and other detritus. Hull integrity is a measure of how reinforced the ship's interior is and how much damage a ship can take before breaking up. Isolated compartments, reinforced bulkheads, and blast doors increase hull integrity, while long open passageways and substandard material decrease it. Power generation. Power generation measures the energy the ship generates to run its myriad components. If a component is unpowered, it will not function. Space measures the room in the ship for various components. If there's not enough space for a component, it cannot be contained within the ship's hull. A starship's turret rating is an abstract representation of how many defensive turrets it has. Turrets are small, short-ranged weapons used for shooting down small attack craft and torpedoes. The Expectus Primus has a turret rating of 2. For reference. I believe, yes, turret rating of 2. So it kind of has... let's see. Weapons capacity. These are locations on a starship that have enough room to house the massive weaponry of the starship of the 41st millennium. Ship points are when you create a ship. When it's like character creation, you get a certain number of feats and ability score increases and stuff like that. Or, use a certain amount of XP you can use to up your abilities or take skills and talents in Rogue Trader. Ships get a number of ship points, at least at creation. Once post-creation, what's set is set, which means you have to buy them, and that requires knowing the right people and GM difficulty standards of how expensive it's going to be, and can you get to the shipyards, and do they want... Aww. Okay, hang on. Boop. Alright, I promise I won't get too long. Oh, dang. He looks good. Okay. Okay. Machetes. Okay. Alright. Back to focus. Back to the thing. Hello, and... Aw, man. That's sad. Still, they look great, and they exist in the world. They, the renders are out there, circulating, and he's got file copies, so, let's see. Characteristics, wait. Like the characteristics, ship characteristics are represented using numbers. However, unlike a character, a ship's characteristics are not rated on a scale of 1 to 100. This is because, unlike a character, a ship is an inanimate object. The best ship in the Imperium is useless without an equally competent crew to operate. Therefore, most of a ship's characteristics are treated as static numbers to be tested against, similar to a character's wounds or a piece of armor's AP value. Other characteristics, most notably maneuverability and detection, are bonuses or penalties that may be added when a character on board the ship makes appropriate skill test. These represent the concept that some ships are more maneuverable or have better augers than others, and a skilled operator is able to get more out of them. But it still depends on the skill of the person operating it. So, if two drivers were to get into two cars, yeah, one car might have a better engine and such, but if the one driving the car with the better engine is just a regular old guy, and the one driving the other car is a NASCAR racer who's used to, maneuvering, if they're in a twisty-turny race, NASCAR driver still might win, even with a worse engine, just because he knows how to maneuver a car around those turns quickly and safely, you know what I mean? Whereas the other guy's going to have to slow for the turns, because otherwise it'll crash the car. That's how... because he doesn't know what he's doing. That's, driving, using machines is a skill set, and having a competent crew makes all the difference. Baseline characteristics are determined by hull type. Some hulls, such as transport, are roomier and able to hold more. Other hulls, such as Raider, are designed for speed and maneuverability, but are cramped and relatively fragile. These baseline characteristics may be modified depending on components within the ship's hull. You're not going to tempt me away from it this time. I'm sure it's really cool. But we're Warhammer 40k, it's Tuesday, and I'm still, and we're trying to get the Starship. Okay, we're not doing much type up today, but we're, going through the spaceship for it, and we're gonna, I'm getting to it, just, okay, focus. Yes, every day is something. Let's see. Baseline characteristics can be modified depending on components within the ship's hull. Components can provide benefits and drawbacks. For example, large plasma drives might make the ship faster and provide more power, but they also take up space, which could have been given over to other components. On the other hand, reinforced adamantine armor plating can increase the ship's armor, but its speed and maneuverability might suffer from the increased mass. Some of the ship's various components will be discussed later in the chapter. First chapter will cover basic hull types. Okay. Frigates. So we are a sword class frigate. Frigates. In many ways, frigates are the pinnacle of a shipbuilder's art. Lean, fast, and dangerous, frigates can outrun anything they can't fight and destroy anything they can catch. Frigates fill the ranks of battle fleet Calixis, where they are prized commands for the youngest and most aggressive naval captains. While a frigate may not seem as prestigious as a cruiser or battleship, their versatility means they are the Navy's ship of choice for all manner of actions. Frigates are tasked for convoy escorts, patrols, anti-piracy operations, and even attacks on rebel ships and stations. They routinely skirmish with the frigates and raiders of seditionists, pirates, and even hostile Xenos races. Thus, a frigate captain is in the mix much more often than his counterparts aboard the battlefleet's larger vessels. Frigates are balanced between all aspects of ship design: speed, maneuverability, firepower, and defense. A skilled mechanicus shipwright can even increase their cargo capacity and supply storage without greatly reducing any of the other aspects. They are also relatively common ships, often with robust, simple designs. Therefore, they are easily modified and maintained. There are countless stories in the Calixis sector of crippled frigates lost in space, only to limp into port months later after their crews had effected emergency repairs. All this means that frigates are some of the most desired ships for enterprising rogue traders. A frigate provides a rogue trader with almost unlimited options. Trade, exploration, conquest, piracy are all possible with a properly outfitted frigate and a captain of pluck and nerve at the helm. Well, our captain, she doesn't have a lot of pluck and nerve, but she's got a lot of chutzpah and nerve, but not a lot of pluck. She's just, a little bit of nerve, not a lot of pluck, as we go. So, that's the deal with frigates. We do have a frigate. Components. So that's what we got. The ship's made up of various components, all contained within the ship's hull. These components are what makes the ship a ship. Without them, they would be an empty framework. There are two essential types of components: essential and supplemental. Essential are what all the ships need in order to operate. These include bridge, plasma drives, warp drive, life support, and the like. Supplemental components may be useful, but a ship can still operate without them. They include cargo bays, weapons, and passenger quarters. Components use the two finite resources on the ship, space and power, which we agreed we had. We wrote this down. Hang on. 40 space, and we don't know how much power we have. Well, I do know how much power we have, but the power is determined by the type of engine you have, or determined by the type of plasma generator you have, rather. I did balance out when I built the Expectus Primus, I did balance out the power and space. So it should all add up. Now, I might have done the math wrong the first time, but if it does, we'll have to tweak it, and we'll go from there. If you don't stir when you add the sugar, that second half of your cup of tea is sweeter than the first half. Significantly so. Just an interesting observation. Tasty. Okay. If a component does not have power, it is unpowered. Unpowered components are lightless, powerless sections of a ship where there's no gravity and no air. Those who wish to enter must use void suits. Needless to say, they do not provide any of their listed benefits or bonuses to the ship. If a component does not have space, it is exposed. Exposed components are mounted outside of the ship's hull. They can still have power and be used. A passenger pod could be suspended on the outside of a ship and still have light, heat, and air. However, the module does not receive any benefits from the ship's armor or structural integrity. During combat, they will absorb... the first hits to make it through the ship's shields and be destroyed. Any crew unfortunate enough to occupy the component at the time will be killed. However, some components will have external trait. These components have been designed to be mounted on the outside of a starship's hull and are plated in protected alcoves or shielded by strange technologies. An external component does not take up space and cannot be destroyed except by a critical hit. I don't care if the power's out in the passenger quarters. If we don't get the main drive conduit patch, we're all sucking vacuum. Bosun McCade aboard the Vigilant Aquila. Sorry. All ships have certain vital components without which they could not operate. These components are included in a ship's basic design. They cannot be removed. Can they be removed? Let's find out. I'm gonna just. Does that change that on that? No, not too bad. Okay, just checking. It helps me see the chat better. So, and that's the play, isn't it? Is to see what you guys are saying, in case you guys want to say something interesting. Sorry. Let me do the thing. They cannot be removed lest the vessel turn into an expensive and useless hulk, but they may be upgraded, replacing older and less useful components with more powerful versions. These essential components are specifically for starships capable of warp travel. A system defense monitor or intersystem tug, for example, would not require warp drive or Geller field. Warp-capable starships' essential components are the following. The hull, plasma drives, gigantic edifices of almost incomprehensible technology. Plasma drives take up an immense amount of space within the ship's starship's hull. Without one, the ship is little better than a cold, drifting tomb. They provide power. So the type of plasma drive you have depends on how much power you get. Warp drives. The vast majority of starships are consigned to toil through space at speeds much slower than light. They have the unenviable choice of remaining trapped within a single star system or spending centuries traveling even to the closest suns. The warp drive provides a shortcut allowing vessels to enter the terrifying realm known as the Immaterium, the warp, which is the very stuff of chaos. You know the warp. It's the same as in fantasy, I presume, except it's used for space travel in 40k in a way that it isn't in fantasy. Although, here's an interesting question. In Warhammer Fantasy, can you teleport through the warp? The same way you do in 40k, just on smaller scale, because you're not going in between space. If a ship can survive here, it can reach destination within weeks or months instead of years. Essential for rogue traders. I have my players roll. Every week they spend in the warp, they have to roll a check to see if something terrible happens. Oh, something terrible. Okay, sometimes it's not terrible, but I did tweak it so that high rolls don't necessarily, like, it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to get everything's fine rolls. And that I took away the bonus that they get, which makes it easier to get everything's fine rolls, because I wanted them to have chaos and shenanigans go on while they're in the warp, because that makes traveling more interesting. That's my own personal house rule. Usually you roll every 5 days, and if you have a good navigator, they get a plus whatever. There's extra bonuses if you do well on the navigation checks, and it's a 75 or higher, so it's a 25% chance nothing goes wrong, which is higher if you do well on the navigation. I have like a 20% chance, maybe a 10% chance on my tables, and it's actually completely random. Void shields. Right. Void shields create barriers or energy around a starship. The weaker versions on transports mainly exist to deflect celestial debris, while the military vessels shield... nope, not that. Boom. Sorry. Nope. I went the wrong way. Hang on. Geller fields. Though Void Shield protects the starship in space, it is no use against the nightmarish inhabitants of the warp. For that, the warp-capable ship requires a Geller field. This technology existed since long before the Age of Strife, and creates a bubble of normalcy in the realm of chaos, making sure its creatures stay outside the hull. It's sometimes demons do slip through. And if your Geller fields go wonky, it's... Anyway, bridge. Crew compartments. Even the smallest transport requires thousands of crew members to operate. Many are menial laborers press gang from the depths of hives, others skilled voidsmen trained to operate the starship's many systems. Regardless, they all require a place to live, be it moldy bunker or a well-appointed cabin. Let me see. Void shields. Military's vessels' void shields are strong enough to absorb incoming fire. Bridge. Like every body must have a head, every starship must have a bridge. Here, from his command pulpit, the captain directs his vessel and the actions of thousands of crew. Here also are the advanced cogitators that direct the ship's targeting system, sensors, and other systems. Sight is of little use when dealing with vast distances of the void. Auspex, gravity detectors, and augar rays can spy the reflected light from a tumbling asteroid or heat from an enemy vessel thousands or even millions of kilometers away. More advanced sensors can even spot the warp wake of a vessel traversing the immaterium. But navigators can also do that depending on their skills, so it's probably better off just having a really skilled navigator if you can't get your, because sensors are expensive and navigators aren't cheap, mind you, but they're kind of... Right. So, my plan was to type, so I have a list, see, okay, I don't know if you can read this. I have a list of components for the ship. So my plan was to just give you an overview of the components, and then type up what exactly Expected Supremacy has, how much space it takes up, and how much power it uses, and how much or generates, and then we can, like, it'll have a record of all the, you know what I mean? But I wanted to give you an overview of what that does first. Context, if you will, for teleport. I have to remember to do the thing with the thing. Okay, then we got supplemental components. Okay. Complications chart and the past history chart. So we got a machine spirit quirk and we got 2 complications. So the complications, which I think I know. Let's see. All right, let me show you. So we got our, what do we have? Tempest class, Havas class, Frigate, Sword class. Here we go. So the Sword class, 1.6 kilometers long, and then 0.3 kilometers beam. At 6 megatons of mass. I don't think I put that down. Hang on, I should put that down on my list of thingamabobs. No. Let's see. Bob. I should put down the mass. What is the mass? 6 megatons. I don't know if we'll ever need to know that, but I feel like we should. Oh, 6 megatons. Yep, no, I did put it down. Okay, good to know. Let's see. Mainstay of the battlefield, Calixis. Every system aboard one of these frigates has been tried and tested in innumerable engagements. Its laser-based weapons and turrets are accurate and hard-hitting. Plasma drives are rugged and reliable in extreme conditions. Few task force do not include at least a pair of swords to guard the flanks of larger vessels or pursue smaller, faster raiders. More than a few rogue traders have noticed the stellar performance of these vessels and obtained one. With a few minor contrivances, conversions to increase hold, swords suit their needs quite well. Hull integrity, turret rating, space is 40. We have 2 dorsal weapons. I don't know if we have any weapons. I don't know if we do. The Expected Supremacy might not have any weapons. Okay, so complications. Our complication was wrathful. The ship's spirit constantly smolders with anger. In battle, it explodes into a berserker fury, straining and exhausting its system. During combat, you have the +1 speed and +7 maneuverability. Out of combat, this ship suffers -1 speed and -5 to maneuverability and detection. It doesn't like being out of combat. Histories. Oh, Reliquary of Mars. Yes. The Teleportarium. So somehow this vessel has been outfitted with ancient archaeotech systems from mankind's forgotten past. When constructing this vessel, players must select one archaeotech component of their choice. However, any tech used test to repair the ship might suffer -20 due to the highly complex nature of the machinery. In addition, the tech priests of Mars regard the vessels holy, at least have holy components. Some may petition to visit the vessels, others may want it for themselves. This is why they have so many freaking explorators, is because once the tech priests of Mars, they rescued the explorator fleet, and then everyone was like, oh, wait, shoot, there's the thingamabud. That's why they have so many explorators. That, and I kept rolling explorator when I rolled on my, when I rolled up all the characters randomly, I kept getting a lot of explorators. So that's why it has so many explorators. It, like, it matches, you know what I mean? Boom. They have some fun explorators, though. Like, Janthine's fun. And they all have cool past histories and stuff, because, you know, like you do. Okay. Complications are designed to personalize a starship, as well as make something more than just a collection of statistics on a sheet of paper. A good captain thinks of his ship as something alive, and will love and hate it, cajole, threaten, and praise it in turn, just as he might any of his flesh and blood companions. If GM wishes the player's starship to have a specific personality, he should feel free to select from the complication charts rather than having the players roll. In addition, past histories include suggestions for plot hooks and situations the players may find themselves in due to what has happened to their starship before they came into possession of it. As far as the ship's personality, the machine spirit oddities should be treated as broad guidelines. GMs shouldn't feel limited to the benefits and drawbacks listed in the charts, and are free to come up with additional complications that fit the ship's character. Perhaps the vessel has a nose for trouble, occasionally scan nearby vessels as if searching for weakness, even if they are friendly. Or a ship that is ancient and wise flares its retros when on a collision course with an asteroid, warning the helmsman to danger he did not notice. Of course, ship is not sentient and will not strike up conversation with the players and send them messages telling them what to do. But there should be some spark in its hull, a little bit of something beyond mere machine. Okay, so this is where we get to the nitty-gritty. Ready? Plasma drive does more than move a ship. It also provides the power to all the ship's other systems. A vessel's fiery heart. So we got Jovian pattern, class 1 drive, lathe pattern, class 1 drive. So we got Jovian pattern, lathe pattern. Let's see. And then warp engines. Strelov 1 and Strelov 2. I think that's just for the size of the ship. Geller fields. Let's see. Warp Spain hull is an extra component. If you want to coat the entire hull in silver, hand-inscribed with hexagrammic wards. These reinforced Geller field projected from a 50-meter statue of Imperial Saint, located just before the bridge. So basically, you just have to, if you coat your whole ship in silver, and have a statue of a saint, the Emperor will protect it extra, and you get a little bonus. Any navigation test to pilot the ship through the warp gain a plus 10 bonus when rolling on table 7-4 warp travel encounters. GM rolls twice and allows the navigator to choose which result is applied. So you could get an extra chance at it. Okay. So we have Combat Bridge, Command Bridge, and Commerce Bridge. I think, kind of Combat Bridge. And we armored it. This bridge has been modified to give the ship's master greater control over the vessel. As long as the bridge remains undamaged, all command tests made by the captain get a plus 5, and all ballistic tests made to fire shipboard weapons gain plus 5. If this component ever suffers a critical hit, it becomes unpowered on a D10 roll of 3 or higher. Okay. I think, hang on. Sorry, Armored Bridge. Oh yeah, we have an armored command bridge. Bridge of warships are often reinforced with additional armor plating to ensure survival of their occupants. If this component takes a critical hit or becomes damaged or unpowered, roll d10 on a 4 or higher, the component is unharmed. So, okay, so it's a roll of 4 or higher as opposed to a roll of 3 or higher. Yes. Life sustainers. Okay, so we have this. We have lathe pattern. Lathe pattern. Okay, so a lathe pattern generates 40 power but takes up 12 space. A Jovian pattern generates 35 power but takes 8 space. For transport, raiders and frigates. So we have those are for transports. For raiders and frigates, we got a class 2 drive. Oh yeah, you can't get a lathe drive for frigates. You have to have a Jovian one. Okay, so I believe. Okay, so we have the class 2 drive. Yes, we do. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. Ready? This is where we actually start typing. You guys, you ready? Are you ready? Sorry, I'm just excited about this. Okay, it's I'm sorry, I'm not displaying the. I keep forgetting to put it back up. Okay, so this is where we start typing stuff. Okay, components, teleportarium. We will get to that. And then we got boom, So let's see. And then we got the Jovian pattern class 2 drive. Yes! That's the spirit. Sorry. Class 2 drive. And hang on, minus how much space do we lose on that? 10 space, but 45 power. Okay. So minus 10 space. So we're down to 30. Let me just double check these things. Okay, so minus 10 space. Plus 45 power. Yes. Okay. So then we got, what else we got? Strelov 1 warp engine. Okay, I believe, let me check this. Do the check. Okay, yeah. So Strelov 1 or Strelov 2 is basically just I don't know if we have a warp spane hull. Do we have a warp spane hull? Yeah, the ship points basically if you want these are the ship point ones are the ones that have extra cost associated because you have to have, like, you know. Okay. So we got Strelov 1 warp engine. Power and 10. Take up power and fudge. Okay, half the power is the engine and the or rather half of the space is engines and plasma drives. Okay. Because that's what you get, I guess. Okay, hang on. So we got Strelov 1. One. Warp engine. Warp drive. Warp engine, not a warp drive. So it's minus 10 space, minus 10 power. Okay. So that brings us down to 20 space, which is not great. This is the table I'm using, by the way. Handy dandy table. Okay. Let me... Geller field takes 1 power, but no space. I don't think we have a warp spane hull. A warp spane hull takes up an extra power on top of the regular Geller field. Geller fields? No, oh no, Geller fields... No, you can just... it just costs 2 extra ship points. No, so you could get a Geller field or a warp spane, which is just an extra Geller field. Basically, it's the same amount of power. It just takes up, it's just plus 2 because you gotta get the, plus 2 ship points, which I'm not worried about because I'm creating the ship manually for my, players instead of, making them do it, which means I can use as many ship points as I see fit because I am GM. If that makes sense. However, I think I don't have a warp spane hull. I'm trying to do it this way so you see the side of my face, not the back of my head. Top of my head, you see the side. I don't know if that helps anyone, but... Oh, we do have a warp spane hull. I did do that. Okay, yes, warp spane hull. So, let's go with warp spane hull. So we got minus 1 power. So far we got, minus 11. So 45 minus 11 is 34. Okay. So we still have 34 power and 20 space. Because it doesn't actually take up any space because it's on the outside of the hull, not the inside. Also, peanut butter M&Ms are weirdly good. I bought them because they were in a vending machine. They were like, You know how sometimes you go it and it doesn't quite go and it's kind of dangling? And the person who buys the first one is kind of screwed because they don't get their, whatever. I came in and nabbed the second one. So I got two. Hmm. Oh yes. Single void shield array. So we have a single. Okay. Okay, so single void shield array. Oh, multiple void shield is just for cruisers. Okay, so it takes up 1 space. So that's down to 19. 5 power, which brings us down to 29. Okay. Minus 1 space, right? You said 1 space. Void shield. 5 space. No, 5 power, 1 space, right? Yeah. 1 space, 5 power. Okay. No, it was. Hang on. No, it was 5. I'm mixing them up again. Hang on. No, it's 5 power, 1 space. Okay, hang on. 5 power, 1 space. That's 1 space and 5 power. Okay. There we go. We're getting this. Let's see. Oh, we have an armored combat bridge. So, okay, combat bridge, armored combat bridge, armored command bridge. We have a combat. Hang on. Let me go with armored bridge. Oh, you can only get armored command bridges? Well, why can't you get an armored combat bridge? Okay, hang on. Command bridge. Combat. Okay, so 1 and 1. Command bridge is 2 power and 1 space. Armored command. That's command bridge. Armored command bridge is 2 power and 2 space. So I'm going to say it's 1 power, 2 space, right? Because the armoring just increases the space by 1, but doesn't take up how much... Yeah, it increases the space by 1, but doesn't increase the power capacity. So I say it increases the space by 1, so it's 2 space and 1 power. Right. It's an extra space, but no extra power. Yeah. That's when we have a combat bridge, because they don't have a list, but that's how it goes. We're having an armored... Yeah. So it's 2 space, 1 power. Okay. Because we have a... Yeah. Okay, 2 space, 1 power. Yeah, okay. We got this. Hopefully, it's not terribly boring watching me do clerical work, but... Alright. So we got Vitae powered life support. It supports life support. Okay, it is a little bit boring. Alright. Life Sustainer. Sorry, Life Sustainer. Hey, you're very good moral support. Sustainer. I figured as much. Always got to do the extra side hustles. Believe me, I understand that. Vitae powered Life Sustainer. Let me. What's our yes. So it's 4. Okay, so it takes 4 power, 2 space. 2 space, 4 power. 2 space, 4 power. Hang on. Okay. We should do that math. Up. Okay. Then we got Voidsman quarters, because we are being nice to our crew and getting them better, because a lot of our crew is really cool. And, jazz. All that jazz. Transport, 1 and 3. So it takes 1 space, but 3 power. So they have a little extra. Oh no, 1 power, 3 space. Sorry, they have a little more space, which makes sense. Because that's what, the power is the same, but they get, better combinations. 3 space, 1 power. Minus 3 space. We have power of 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, Anyway, Voidsman quarters. So we got the crew quarters. We got. All right, so far. All right, space. We got 10, that's 20, 21, 23, 25, 26. No, 20, sorry, 25, 27. So we have 27, 28. Okay, we have 28 of the 40 space taken up, which, works. Then for the power, we got 45. So that's 35, 34. 5 power is 29, 28, 24, 23. Okay, so that's still a feasible amount of power. We're doing good. Because if we take up more space or power than we actually have, then we have to redo the calculations, and redoing calculations is a necessary evil occasionally, but not fun. Okay, yes. So we have. So we get R50 Auspex multi-head. Oh. Okay, there's definitely some laser batteries. Okay, so. Ahoy, ahoy! Hello! Oh! You're raiding! Hello! Welcome! Hi, Bruno! Welcome to my stream. That's why I had to lurk on your stream. Oh, now I have my stream in 2 windows, because I had yours, muted on another tab, because obviously I wanted to, support your stream. But hi! Welcome. Hello, everyone. My name is Lee. They, them vibes today. She or he is fine. I'm pretty chill about pronouns. We are doing Warhammer 40k. So, oh, cool. New follower. Thank you. Hey, absolutely love it. Thank you. So welcome to our stream. Today we are, so we're doing a little bit of a thing. So excellent. I'm glad. So, yeah, so if you know 40k, then, in I want to say the early 2010s, Warhammer, Fantasy Flight Games, that's the one, released, a role-playing game, a series of role-playing games, Rogue Trader, Only War, Dark Heresy, and then one, which I think is the Space Marines one. Basically, they were, nitty-gritty role-playing games, as opposed to the, moving the figures on a battle map, just commanding the armies and having the battle. What you could do is play as individual characters and have emotional, moments and real role play because it has such fascinating lore. So, now in 2017, they lost the licensing rights, and they don't have that anymore. No longer exists. But, I have a copy of Rogue Trader. So what I've been doing is, let's see. This is, here is the is a section of the core rulebook, for how to build spaceships. For example, and what I've been doing with it, let me show you guys, is I have started up a Expectus Primus. Basically, I started with the ship, and then I started, coming up with all these characters for the crew, Captain being, Jarian Helmshoel, it's from the long line of Rogue Traders, and I basically went through all the different crew members, her Seneschal, Finnick, the Astropath, and your navigator. We have a backup navigator. So I would roll randomly along on these charts to come up with these characters, and kind of. So then I had these random charts. I do a lot of random character creation the same way you do, which I think you kind of understand. I don't usually do visuals on them, but and then of course I came up with the stats for the ship itself, which is what we're doing now. And then of course all the planets where all the people come from, and which is intensive notes on planets. I also have a list. I keep a list of cool names for planets. So if you have any really cool names for planets, I can add them to the list for the next time I do a planet. I either roll randomly on the list or ask whoever's in chat to name the planet. And then, of course, the lore, weaving them all together with orc battles and relics from the Dark Age of technology and intensive rescue missions and, stuff like that. But today I was going to do a type-up stream, so what I ended up doing was the ship. I ended up getting to where I took notes on the ship itself, and I realized that I'd come down with all the different components for this ship itself, the Expectus Primus, and all of the different components it had. So I'm going through, taking notes on all of that. I have back when I started the stream, I would take notes on the characters and all the world building and stuff I did, and the ship as well, in this notebook, and it started to fall apart on me because I did so many streams, and Tuesday, I did 40K on Tuesday, Thursday. On Wednesdays, I would do, Pathfinder and do that kind of characters, and some days we do Thirsty Sword Lesbian. So we do so many different things, and I, every day I'd would be taking notes in the stream, and so the notebook fell apart. And so I've been trying to type up all of the stuff that I have in the notebook. And yes, good, I still have the right page. Because it's actually much better streaming to take notes on screen so that you can see my face. And, nope, okay. Praxis. So I was going to do a type-up stream today. And then, of course, the type-up stream was... No, that's COD. No. So my plan was, because the first 40K thing I did was the ship itself. That's Janthine, Okovisaria, because we already did that. So it's, that's, I had notes on the ship. Oh yeah, that's Odette, and here we go, notes on the ship. I have a lot of different stuff in that notebook. I'm going to type it all up eventually on stream because I'm not good at typing up otherwise, but for now we're just going through the nitty-gritty of the ship, the Expectus Primus, which is crew is 26,000. It's a huge vessel, sword class frigate. It can go at 4.5 gravities forward for a max sustainable acceleration, which is kind of cool. And it's got a -20 on all repair tests because the repair test would be rolled out of a D100, and you're hoping to roll low. But -20 is a negative to the way the rolling works for this is there's a target number you get that's your own on any check you make, which is your own skill in that particular field, any bonuses you accrue from having skill, talents or skills as a character, and then any circumstantial bonuses. So a repair ship would be intelligence plus 20 if you're a skilled voidsman, and then minus 20 on this particular ship, which would then equal out, minus 20 and the plus 20 would equal out, and you'd get just your intelligence score, and you have to roll under that to make the successful check, and then you roll the D100, and if it's under, you're golden, and if not, you can maybe burn a fate point to reroll it, or you just don't repair the ship, and that's, but the reason you get your target number is 20 lower every time you use, on this ship particularly, no matter how good you are at repairs, because it has archaeotech from the Dark Age of technology in the form of a teleportarium, which is, we're getting to that. That is part of the complication as a past history that we rolled on our past history chart, and generally an interesting thing as to why there are so many explorators on the ship, because as soon as the Expectus Primus rescued the explorator fleet, they picked up a lot, and a lot of the explorators ended up staying on the Expectus Primus, partly because they had a relic from the Dark Age of technology, and it was just a thing, and it worked out quite well. But Voidsman Quarters, wait, what do we have? Then we got the R50 Auspex. Let me do the thing. R50 Auspex is the sensors we have. This is today we're doing the nitty-gritty of shipbuilding. Also, multiband. Ooh, it takes up, no space, but 4 power. Okay, good to know. Also, say hi in the chat. I always encourage people in the chat to, say hi, offer suggestions, anything. I love it when people chat. Makes the stream so much more interesting. Let's see. Let me, R50. Auspex, multiband. And if you have any questions, let me know on Warhammer 40k lore, or why I'm making certain choices for the ship, or, about the captain or the crew, or any of it. I'm always happy to explain. Let's see. 4 power. Okay, no space, but 4 power. So we're gonna do this. The way these things work is that you, all the ship components take up space and or power, which means space is just how much, space you have in your ship. Our hull is a, Iggy's, absolutely. I have a soft spot in my heart for the Imperial Guard. The Imperium, I know they're morally questionable at best, but they're, humanity is in a dark and dangerous time, and Imperial Guard, the Iggy's, I have a soft spot for the Imperial Guard, for their, they're just, I have a soft spot for the Imperial Guard, because they're just regular people, and they're thrown into this universe of horrors and things, and they're, they don't have anything special about them. They're not superhuman or have great wealth or power or anything, but they have good training, and they want to protect humanity, and they're just doing their best to protect humanity, and just, I have a soft spot for Iggy's. The Adeptus Soresta are also super cool, especially because of weird technicality. They only exist because of a technicality, because of Goj Vandire. Like a technicality, men-at-arms. Well, what if your people aren't men? Exactly, they're giving their lives to the Emperor. They're not particularly zealous or particularly anything, and a lot of them don't have a choice, but they're still doing it. Not just for the Emperor, but for humanity, and I respect them for that. And I actually wrote, back in my, when I was younger, I wrote, I set out to write a Warhammer 40k Expanded Universe novel. Got a couple hundred pages in. I ended up throwing orcs at the ship that I had my characters in. I almost said at the party, because I've Now, the way I do Warhammer 40k now is I run Rogue Trader games. But, yeah, I threw in a bunch of orcs because I realized we were like 50 pages into a Warhammer 40k novel and they had yet to fight anybody because I'd started right when the battle was over. All these women in the Imperial Guard. Because the lore mentions all-female Imperial Guard units and then doesn't follow up on that. Like, none of the novels or any of that really, none of the novels, none of the factions that have detailed lore really dig into that. And I'm like, well, all right, let's make that happen. So I created Renthok, and I actually, Renthok was my first foray into Warhammer 40k world building. That was a planet I created, okay, hang on. -4 power. And... oh, we have cannons. Okay, hang on. I have the problem where I cannot read my own handwriting. On this. So, we'll see what we can do with it. Okay, we have a laser. So we have a sun spear, we have a laser. Hang on. I think we have all of the essential components. Now I think it's weapons. So, let's see what kind of weapons we got. Optimized for navigation at the expense of sensors' other uses. Does not require hull space, and +5 bonus to maneuver test to avoid celestial phenomena, but subtracts -2 from ship's detection. When working toward an exploration objective, all players gain additional +50 achievement points toward completing the objective. So if you're looking at that, macro batteries, that's what we've got. Okay, supplemental components. Not required for Starship to function, although they may be highly recommended. Unlike essential components, multiples of the same component, or even duplicates of the same component, may be installed on the ship, unless specifically stated otherwise. When installing weapons components, they must be placed under one of the Starship's weapons capacity slots. We have two, I believe we have two, let's see, we have 2 dorsal weapons. So, okay. For example, a ship that has a weapon capacity of 1 dorsal, 1 prow can have a 1 dorsal weapon and 1 prow weapon, no more. If a lance weapon is installed for a frigate size or smaller, it must be installed in a prow weapon slot. Lance are large and cumbersome weapons in respects to smaller vessels, can only be installed on ships specifically designed to carry them. If the ship of frigate size or smaller does not have a prow weapon slot, it cannot carry a lance. Okay, I'm gonna go check one thing. The bridges and the components. Hang on. This essential. Okay, that's essential components. This is the complications. Reliquary of Mars. Somehow this vessel has been outfitted with ancient archaeotech system from mankind's forgotten past. In this case, a teleportarium. When constructing this vessel, player must select one archaeotech component. However, any tech use test to repair the ship suffer -20 penalty due to the complex nature of the machinery. Additionally, the tech priests of Mars regard the vessel as holy, at least having holy components. Some may petition to visit the vessel, others may want it for themselves. This is why they have so many exploradors. But what I was looking for was sword class frigate. So I just want to make sure I check on the weapons. 2 dorsal. Yep, so no prow weapons. We do not have any prow weapon slots, so we can't have a lance, essentially. I don't know why I put down that we had a lance. Let me see what we got. I think that's a lance. Like I said, I can't read my own handwriting. Macro batteries. Let's see. We go to the table. Oh, it's a laser battery. Yep. Okay. No, we have a laser battery. We have a sun spear laser battery. That's what we have. That's why I thought we had a lance for some reason. Okay, we have a sun spear laser battery and a macro cannons. Yep, we have macro cannons. Yeah, we have macro cannons, Mars pattern, and a laser battery. Okay, so we are armored, which is good because a lot of the people on the ship have powerful enemies, including the fun fact, the cook. We we're doing our character creation, and we did the cook, and apparently she comes from a noble family and has enemies. So what we have is... Okay. So we have Sunspear, laser battery, and Mars pattern macro cannons. Okay. We got this. Let's see. Laser battery takes up space. Is laser battery. Here we go. Space 4, power 6. So -4 space, -6 power. And then we'll have to check the math in a minute, but first let me... And the macro cannons, not broadside, regular. So 4, okay, so 4 power and 2 space. So -2 space, -4 power. -2 space, -4 power. If pattern has an N on the end, I know this. If it turns out that the oh, I could. The problem with that is that it's the PDF is a it's a PDF. So I don't think I could, because when you do a link, don't you have to link it to a... Yeah, it's a PDF. I have, because actually it's illegal. Not illegal. Well, so in 2017, the Fantasy Flight Games lost the licensing rights to the Warhammer 40k franchise. They had a falling out with Games Workshop. Apparently it was mutually agreed, and they were all chill, and there was no bad feelings. That's what they said in the official press release. Read into that what you will. However, that meant that you can no longer legally purchase copies from Fantasy Flight Games. You have to get a PDF from somebody, or from another supplier, or from, you have to find a PDF some other way, basically. Within the realm of property law, of course. Exactly. It's not illegal to use. You can, to share it with your party members, or, stuff like that. But you can't just get copies, which means there's no internet link. You know what I mean? There's no resources, like, for example, if you wanted to do for a D&D, you would link it to D&D Beyond, or a Pathfinder. They have the Nethys archives, so if you're doing Pathfinder, you can link it to the Nethys archives, and they have the online, but you can't do that for something like this because it's, not a thing. Oh, what was I was going to do math, is what I was going to do. So we have getting a sword class frigate, sorry. So get 20 space, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 38. Okay, so all of this together is 38 in terms of space. That's okay, good to know. And then power, we have 45 from the drive, so that's 35 once you get the warp engine, 34, 29, 28, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19. Ooh, okay. We have a little problem. Is the math doesn't work out for the power. So what we need to do is figure out how to reduce that, right? Hang on. Let's see, 10. So we had 10 for the engines. 15. That's 20. 22. 24. No, 26. That's 32. 4. Yeah. No, that's... Okay. We're going to have to go... All right. So I did... Okay. All right. So what we need to do is figure out Okay, hang on. If we do the Thunderstrike, the range isn't as good, but it does take up less power. So what we're going to do is we'll do Thunderstrike instead of Mars pattern. We don't have as good, let's go with that. And then we'll have to, and that will give us 2 power. That'll be good on this. We're good on space, not so much on power, right? Okay, so Teleportarium, which is the only other, is an Archaeotech component. Let's see. Warship, but this often, when working toward a trade or criminal object, let's see. Cargo and passenger components. Let me see how much, because I wanted to have that, but, supplemental components. Cargo bay and lighter, space and power. Okay, so we're not going to be able to do the extra cargo. So we'd have to have, figure out something else with that. So we're not going to be able to do cargo, but, additional, all right, we can't do any of those, so that's fun. But we are going to, Unitorium, okay. So, let's see. Archaeotech. Oh, right, we can do an Archaeotech, this or that. Teleportarium, 1 space and 1 power. Okay. So we got, I think with the minus, I think we're okay on the power. And I know we have this. So, we might have, we can give the ship Archaeotech components, which makes sense given that it's got the Teleportarium. It might very well have other Archaeotech stuff, which take up less space and less power because they're incredibly, but have a trickiness to repair, which is fair because, the whole ship is kind of old and from Dark Age of technology, at least some of it. Let's see. Space-wise, 10, that's 20, 22, 23, 26, 28, 31. Okay, that brings us to 42. No, that's power. Hang on, I counted the power. Hang on. I counted. Okay, yes. So, 10, 11, that's 21, 22, 24, 6, 29, that's 33, no, that's 33, 35. Okay, so we're good on the space. The power is where it gets tricky. Because that's 10 here, that's 11. And we have 45 power. Okay, that's why. That's why we have 45 power. I'm mixed up. Okay. We have 45 power, not just 40, because we have a frigate, which means we have a larger All right. I can't do math. Lee's an idiot. Okay. 11, 12, 17, 18, 22, 23, 27, 33, 35. Okay. So, why did I think... I did the math wrong last time, I think. I did the math wrong, I think. Okay, that's 10. Here we got 10, 12, 14, 15, 18, 19, 19, 20, 25, 26, 36, 37. Yeah. Okay, so we did not, and we can have the macro pit and we can have the cargo bay. Okay, I am sorry, I did my math wrong. Okay. So we have cargo holds and lighter bay. But which, because that makes sense as a rogue trader ship, they actually do some trade. which, and then we said, okay, Teleportarium, which we have, and that is the Xenotech. No, we do not have Xenotech. It's a secondary ship, in the fleet of, so, the deal with Captain Helmschull, actually, I created a whole system for her. She was raised on a planet called Bertland, which is a forge world, and was raised by a group, let's see, of, where are we going? The microbiomes, okay. People who, worshippers of the theory of the God Emperor as the Omnissiah, that particular religious tradition of God Emperor and Omnissiah being one being who is, that. So she was raised under that religious background, on a Forge World, doing Forge World stuff. She moved in with the sisters there when she was 6 or 7, because her father had a habit of sending his kids off to be raised, on random other planets, and then just scooping them when needed, to run his ships, basically as a way of getting them diverse life experience and not having to deal with kids on his ships, essentially. So there's that. So when she got older and he had the extra ship, the Expectus Primus, he scooped her up, brought her aboard, and set up with one of her his best seneschals to keep her on it. And the Expectus Primus was part of his fleet of rogue traders, having a warrant of trade from his father, the way warrants of trade are passed down generationally. So the Expectus Primus is part of a whole a fleet of rogue trader ships that okay, 1 power, 2 space. Yep, we definitely have that. Okay. So they have the Expectus Primus, which we've been working through what it gives and what the different things do. So we have the crew, the whole crew, and then we have the Percus, which is the ship that Odette was on. What happened with that? There was a whole lore section. Oh yes, the Stevenson house, which was where the Navigator was from. Right. Handful of survivors were picked up by the Expectus Primus after the ship, the Explorator ship, was destroyed. I think the Percus was press-ganged by the Explorator fleet. Yeah. So the ship Percus was press-ganged into working for the Adeptus Mechanicus Explorator fleet, including the 3 that were from... So there were some that were from the Percus crew before it was press-ganged, and the Adeptus Mechanicus fleet, and there were some Mechanicus people who were on board because they were working for the Mechanicus Explorator fleet, and a lot of those people stayed because they had the Teleportarium, so the Mechanicus wanted people on the ship just to keep an eye on it. And a lot of the people who weren't Mechanicus directly stayed because it was a ship and they needed, Adet had been born on a ship. The other 2 had been press-ganged. Herman, there was a whole fun fact about how he was press-ganged from that ship to the same, he was from the same planet Janthine was. So when we rolled them, we rolled the exact same randomly generated origin path. The exact same. The only thing that we rolled differently was the character class, the career path, which is like character class. You got Explorator, you have Astropath, Navigator, Rogue Trader, Explorator, Arch Militant, Void Master, Seneschal. And, so they rolled exactly this. All of them were exactly the same. The planet of origin, the background, the tragedy, like the tragic backstory, which was press gang for both of them. it was all of the same, except one ended up an Explorator and the other a Voidmaster. So I kind of went with that, and I was just like, because I could have done a different hive world and had the same thing happen, because there are dozens of hive worlds and there are millions of hive worlds in the Imperium. So I could have, but I thought it was, because it was such a small chance that they came out exactly the same like that when we were rolling on, rolling them all randomly, that I figured it might be worth it to give them a improbably similar backstory. So they came from the same planet, they'd grown up together and both got press ganged, but separately, and then came back together when the ship, or when they were press ganged, when the Adeptus Mechanicus press ganged the Perkis into the Explorator fleet, the Herman, they were reunited, and then that ship got destroyed by orcs, and they were rescued by the Expectus Primus, and, went from there. Let's see. But yeah. Let's see. I think that's everything, right? Because we had all of our... okay, so... they can teleport through the warp. We should note that down. Back to the ship. But I think we've finished typing up the ship, which is good. The ship itself. So can teleport through the warp. Note. What else does that do? Any other notes I made? Okay. Roll a d4. If the component is hit on a... I think it's a d10, a 4 or higher, yeah. It's a 4 or higher on a d10. The armored bridge, yep, that. So, we have an armored bridge, so if component is hit, a d10 on a 4 or higher, it isn't destroyed. I think that might be a little bit of a tricky bit, though, because... So the armored... Hang on. I think it might be slightly different, math-wise. So, let me bring up the thingamabob real quick. Right, bringing up the... Yes, this one. I can switch them out on my end, but I have to remember to switch them out on you guys so you can see. Let's see. Command bridge. Hang on. Armored command bridge. So the armor on a 4 or higher component is unharmed. But a combat bridge. Tech use test to repair the ship gain a +10. Dang. Okay. So, all tech use tests to repair. So as long as the ship is as long as the bridge undamaged. Okay. So, but we got the -20 to. This is what happens. You get a plus and you get a minus. So if we get a -20 because of the I thought there was some tricky thing. Okay. So. -20 on all repair tests, only -10 on tech use tests. I don't know what other skill you would use to repair a ship, but I feel like there's a reason it specified if the bridge is undamaged. Right, because you get a +10, that mitigates half of the -20. That's the thing. It's like, oh, well, you get a plus for this and a minus for that and a plus for this. And it's a game of how do you get the minuses and plus to work out in your favor. For example, if an enemy is very far away, if an enemy is more than like 30 meters away, I think you get a minus because you're far away for the shot, but you get a +10 if you take half of your turn to aim, and instead of half a turn to move or half a turn to do something else. So it's a question of, you get them to negate that, so your roll is straight against your ballistics instead of at a minus. That's how, mechanics, the nitty-gritty of when you actually play, which is a lot about figuring out how to negate, how to math out all of the damage, and then you know what you need to hit, and then you make your roll. Because you want to get the number you need to hit as high as possible, because you're trying to hit under it. Which is a little wonky, but I kind of like it. It works out pretty well. The thing about that, though, is that you cannot fudge. Except, well, as a DM, you can fudge NPCs, whatever, but you can't fudge the DC for the players. So, for example, if you're running like a game of D&D and the players roll a 15 on their athletics check, and you would set the DC at a 17, but the player is it's the player whose character is like all strength based, you might say, you know what, 15 is good enough, and let them go through with it. Like, that's why I don't tell my players the DC before they roll, because that way I can fudge it down if they roll badly and I feel like they should be able to do it. But when you run this, you can't do that, because the DC is based on, like, you assign the penalties at the beginning, so you can say, oh, there's an extra -20 because it's foggy. You can do that as a DM, but you have to declare it ahead of time before they roll. So it's, if they roll, but that keeps you honest. So it's, there's swings and balances. I know D&D DMs who will tell you the DC of the, different DMs will often tell you the DC before you roll, and I don't like to do that, but that's just me. For this one, you kind of have to, but, okay, so I think we got pretty much the entirety of the ship. Navigation. Oh, the opponent's +10 on navigation checks. We got a +10 on void navigate. Yeah, +10 on navigate. Oh, yes, that gives us. Hang on. Yes, is a +10 on navigation checks, because we have the navigation checks, which is actually very useful, because navigators, if your navigator rolls badly, bad things happen. If your navigator rolls badly trying to get through the warp. Let's see. Okay. Alright, we had a bunch of other stuff that I was gonna add. Well, let's see. We're gonna do the math again and figure out how much we're going to do this. We're going to do the math again. And I'm going to see, because they had a librarium and a Tenbro maze, and which actually was very helpful. But, so let's do 1. That's 11. Here, I'll do it like this. So we got 11, space is 11, 21, 22, 24, 26, 29, 30, 31, 33, 37, 38. So 2 extra space. And then power, we have 45. I have to remember we have 45 and not just 40. Is 1, that's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 27, 33, 37, 38. So that's 38. So a 45 is 7 extra power. Okay. I had down on, because I had it on a little corner over here, which is a librarian. Let's see what we got. Let's see how much we got, because I'm not notoriously bad at math. So, let's see, life sustainers. Oh, right, I have to switch it up here too. Always forget that. Let's see. We got life sustainers. Oh, yes, we got all that stuff. I wanted to do lances. Okay, that's weapons. We have 2 weapons, and you can't have any more than that because we only have 2 dorsal weapon outfits. We don't have room for extra weapons, which is a shame, but let's see. Librarium, Tenbro, Librarium Vault. 1 space, 1 power. And then we want to do a Tenbro maze, which is 1 power and 2 space. So we can only have one or the other, essentially. Yeah, we can either have the but having extra power is always good, in case we want to do Tenbro maze. Let's see. Interior of the ship is a maze of passageways, blind compartments, and triple-sealed pressure hatches. Enemy boarding parties become quickly lost and separated, while the defenders spring cunning ambushes from behind holothic bulkheads. It gets +10 to all command tests when defending its boarding actions and hit-and-run actions. Kind of cool. And when a component on this ship is selected to be affected by a critical hit, it is chosen by the ship's controller, not the attackers, because everything's all over the place. Let's see. A Librarium Vault. An ancient collection of writings and manuscripts has been collected aboard this vessel. So any investigative skill tests made aboard the ship gain a +10. I would say it'd be more likely to have a Tenbro maze. Yeah, Tenbro maze. Which would put us at... Hang on. Tenbro maze, which would do 1... Tenbro maze. Yeah, I think Tenbro maze makes sense. So, it's 1 power and 2 space. Well, that's all the space we have, right? Yeah, 1 power, 2 space. Okay, so we can't get a librarium because I did the math wrong. So, but we can't have a Tenbro maze. I try to, what's that? How does that spelled? Tenebro? I feel like that's a... We're gonna do on-screen research real quick, Tenebro, and see if that's like a thing, or if it was just... Tenebros, dark, gloomy. Okay. So... Darkness. Okay, darkness, gloom. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, right. So, I have, oh, wow. I'm sorry. Definitely maze. Okay. I'm good. Okay. I'm okay. Sorry. Oh. Okay. So we got 6 extra 6 extra power. Okay, I guess we don't have any cool knowledge vault, but I don't think we need one. We have a really good seneschal. And okay, that's pretty good. Okay, good to know. All right, I'm thinking. So my streams, I have a habit of not ever specifying when I'm going to end them. I just kind of, because flexibility, and I want to, but I think we're ending today's at 1, because I actually do have to go to the post office before I go to work and other stuffs. So, Oh, but now that we've typed up all of this, let's see. Components of architect. Okay, map pack is random. Chevier. That's random stuff for all of the Pathfinder stuff I do, which I usually go on Wednesdays. I do Pathfinder / 5th edition world that I've built, and I've been creating NPCs and cool world building for that on that. Napoleon Empire, Days of the Week. Okay, hang on. Oh, yeah. Lay on hand. Okay, Paladin, Lay on Hand, Saturday Night. Oh, yeah, that's that one. Alright. But Ziel. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna start. Alright, I'm gonna start typing the next because now that I've got the ship stats all typed out, the only other thing I had was typing out, crew members, like exact detailed biography for the crew members, just so implants and the Adet, because I've been doing those, and because otherwise I don't have their information typed out anywhere. I just have, or I have it in the book, but it's kind of slowly falling apart bit by bit. I'm losing pages off of it, so we should type out, go down a little bit. Let me see. Oh! Haha. Yes, I can actually do a thing. I didn't think of that. That's how we did it with... Okay, so we have Ziel. So Ziel is an arch-militant. He comes from a death world. The death world we ended up calling, I believe, Hamish. Let me check, because I have a quick guide to all of them up here. Yeah, he's from the death world of Hamish, which also was named by someone on my stream. Thicker atmosphere than Earth. And I have more notes on it somewhere here that we will type up eventually when we get to it, typing it bit by bit. Also, note, if you have any cool names for worlds, I can put them on my list of cool names for planets. If I do a world building stream for 40k, which I do tend to do occasionally, I do use the cool names for planets that I have as part of a roll for a cool planet name and roll on the list and use whatever we get. But Ziel is, let's see, what do we have for Ziel? Let's see, how did we, the origin path, statistics. Yeah, I think it was Bees who came up with the name. I was like, what should I call this planet? It's like, call it Hamish. I'm like, okay. We actually ended up with a planet called Bernadette, and then we had an Imperial Saint Bernadette who was named after the planet, not the other way around, because she was from the planet. It was an interesting planet. That was a cardinal world. But we had Ziel. Let's see. So the origin path. Oh! Check it out. Origin path. So what we have, nope, not that. We have, it's printed in the, nope, hang on, we'll have to take this down for a minute. It's printed in the book. It's printed long ways, so you have to kind of spin the book itself if you had a physical copy to see it. For a PDF, you just kind of have to turn your head. So I screenshotted and rotated it. This is the origin path. Basically, you pick one from each row, and it starts with what kind of planet are you from. Birthright, which is what you did before you were ended up in being a rogue trader. Lure of the Void, which is how you ended up in space in the first place. Then you have Trials and Travails, which is built-in tragic backstory. And then your main character motivation, and then that leads to a career path. And you have to... There's the rules for how... Basically, you start with Homeworld, and then you pick either the one just below it, or to the left or to the right of that. So if you're, for example, were born in a Forge world, your options for Birthright would be Scapegrace, Stubjack, or Child of the Creed, which I'm not sure why they put that under Forge world. because I feel like that's a little weird, but, or a hive world, you get up as subject, child of the creed, or savant. So, and there are different, and they say that as a GM, you can allow for a little more flexibility if you feel like it suits the characters well. The path rule is mostly for people who don't know the lore that well. So it said, if your players know the lore well and they can explain why that makes sense, you can absolutely let them do non-contiguous origin paths. I think I let my players do 2 to either side when they were choosing. When I have a campaign that runs on Saturdays. I don't stream it, but I do want to stream a one-shot for this, because I have this, a whole crew worth of characters. If I could find some players and, it would be very cool for them to, to go on stream. It would be a cool thing to do. I just have to get a bunch of players who all are free at the same time on a day when I'm also free, which is tricky because time zones, and I work evenings, which is when most people in my general part of the world are free time zone wise, which is kind of annoying. And then, of course, all that. So, but if I could, I would. It would be absolutely a wonderful thing to do. And then, so when I did all the random character creation, what I would usually do is roll a d6 for origin path, and then roll a d3 and or an evens odds to figure out which one on the path going downward it go to. Or just roll completely randomly and then use your excessive knowledge of the lore. Yeah, that's true. It's true. That is the killer of more D&D parties than anything is scheduling mix-ups. It's like, ugh. That's how it works, isn't it? That's why I stream, I do so many streams sharing how, the cool stuff is, because at least then it's recorded for posterity if I remember to get it up onto YouTube in time. And B, if people are, miss, they miss. It's not a big deal. Whereas if I have players, it's a little trickier if people miss, because then you're struggling to find workarounds for their character or puppet it, and it's just, yes. Zio, right. I was going to start typing. Okay, so the origin path for Zio was from, so let's see, origin path, how do we format it? Was Death World, then to Scavenger, makes sense for Death World, to Tainted Insane. So, I think I thought of that as more of a neuroatypical kind of thing, but basically that he ended up in the void because he didn't jive well with the others, and they thought of him as weird or crazy. And on a Death World where you have to, especially in a Death World like Hamish, where a lot of the danger is actually poison gas, so people are shoved into highly airtight sealed warrens with crammed together for large periods of time, and it doesn't bode well for anyone who can't do well with people. But yeah, he was press ganged. Basically, when the Imperial Guard wanted to recruit a group of soldiers, he was shoved forward by the rest of the community. But take him. So he got stuck in the Imperial Guard, and that particular what's the word? Imperial Guard unit, battalion, I think might be the one I'm looking for. They ended up fighting orcs on the planet. Which planet was it? Beezus, I think. Yeah, Beezus, and then the Explorator fleet was nearby doing research, and they ended up trying to help, and then they ended up getting taken in by orc ships because it was a huge war, and then the Expectus Primus came, to help out other Imperial reinforcements, along with some Space Marines. They managed to get rid of the orcs, save the day, and then all the survivors were kind of mixed and mashed together. A lot of them ended up on the Expectus Primus, which is how he ended up on the Expectus Primus as well. And he ended up as an arch-militant because ex-Imperial Guard. But, yeah. Oh, right. And we had the stats. So the stats are out of 100. And, let's see. Weapon skill is 40, which is actually really good. Like, Space Marines start with a base of, like, 50, I think. Humans, not so much. So, getting anything up in the 40, like, anything above 40 is actually really good. It's out of 100, so it's not, it's difficult to make checks if you don't have any kind of advantage. Let's see, weapon skill is 40. But ballistics is the ballistic skill. Oh, weapon skill being, there's separate skills for weapons and ballistics. So ballistics is, projectile weapons, such as guns, bolt pistols, that sort of thing. Ballistics. We actually didn't write down his gear, also, so we're gonna, I'd have to go back and do that. Oh, yeah, and then Hermit, right, because, okay, ballistics is 37, so a little better with melee weapons. Then, weapon skill, what else we got? We got strength is, because I didn't always put them in the same order, 38. I have, it's not the same way that you go strength, constitution, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. They're all always in that order when you list them for 5th edition D&D or Pathfinder or something like that. These, they have a set order. I just never remember what it is. Sometimes I write them down in wonky order, so I'm trying to keep them matched when I type them up like this, so that they're, they match in what order the toughness, agility, tough. Okay, well, there you go. They already don't match. Agility. Alright, we're going to do toughness, 28. Okay, yeah. That doesn't have great strength. So we have toughness. Let's see. Toughness is 51. Okay, yeah. Dial is tough mother. Agility is 33, so not bad. Yeah. Intelligence, perception, willpower. And then we got intelligence, perception, willpower, fellowship. Intelligence, perception, willpower, fellowship. Okay, those were all in the same order. So, intelligence, perception, willpower, and then fellowship. Alright, now we know they're in the right order, so now we can just plug in the numbers. And then, alright. I think this will probably be the last thing I do on stream today, and then I will... Oh, I could do a sponsor plug. I have to do the sponsor plug after that. But then, intelligence is 35, so that's about just on the cusp of actually good. 37 perception. Willpower is 31, not terrible. Fellowship is 29. Yeah, not great on the fellowship chart. Alright, and then we have the origin path listed. Okay. So now we have Dial started, at least, and we have the entire details for the ship typed up. So that's pretty good. And we double-checked our math on that, and realized I'm bad at math. But, you know. Okay, so always save your work. Always save your work. Okay, I realized I didn't have it up on the screen while I was typing, so that's fun. But okay, quick commercial message. Fun stuff. Okay, well, the first thing is that I have a Discord. Boom. Yeah, the first is I have a Discord. If any of you are interested in joining, we do some fun stuff. There's some fun random channels, this and that, and some memes. I do tend to be memes, and I post my schedule for streaming. I change it up usually have the similar schedules for streaming, but I do tend to change it up occasionally, so I post my schedule and when I'm going live, if you want to, no pressure. And the other one is, if I can find an example, so there's this very cool jewelry company. Oh, here it is. We got this one, and oh, I got both. Okay. So there's a very cool jewelry company called Relentless Rebels, and they were nice enough to sponsor me. So I have actual sponsors. It's very exciting. All right, sponsor is a strong word, but they did make me brand ambassador, and they have cool stuff. And so I would highly suggest, if you're interested, coming and, if you're interested in jewelry. I know not all of you are. Some people aren't, just don't do jewelry, which is cool. But they have Viking-themed jewelry and stuff, and it's really nice stuff. Like, check this out. Check it out. This is one of my favorite pieces from it's like a skull. It's super cool, and the chains come separately, so, like, it came with the silver chain, but I switched it out with the black chain from the anchor because they're all separate, which I think is pretty cool. It's like a Viking-themed jewelry. It's pretty badass. Kind of awesome. Here, I'll put it on. But it's just really cool stuff. Like, this is, and you get a 20% off code. The important part of that is that if you want 20% off this really cool stuff, I can hook you up because, I'm cool like that. So that's what they did by making me brand ambassadors. They just gave me the 20% off code that I can share with you guys. And then, as part of that, and I don't exactly, I like doing the streams, and I need someone to support me, so consider buying jewelry. It's fun stuff. It's actually really nice for what it is, and the shipping is a lot. If you aren't in Europe, the shipping is a pain in the ass, because it takes forever. If you are in Europe, it actually might not take that long. I didn't think of that. I just realized, because the US, it took like 3 months to get everything to get there, because Europe is on the pandemic and customs and everything. But on the other side of Europe, within Europe, it might not take that long at all, which would be kind of cool. So you get 20% off, really cool stuff. They're my sponsors, or, partners at least, and they do make really cool things. So that's fun. Tomorrow night, 11 p.m. Eastern, which right now it's 1 p.m. Eastern for time zone calculation purposes. So that is very late at night for me, because it's after work, and it's probably way, way later at night if you are in Europe or other places. I know, Hiberno, you're in Ireland, I believe, if I remember correctly. So that puts you at 5 hours ahead, so it'll probably be crack of dawn, 11:30. All right, so it's 5-6 hours, so that's crack of dawn on your end is my late night streams. But yeah, for Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday I do a mid-afternoon, so about a little later than this on Fridays, which should be fun. We're gonna do Thirsty Sword Lesbians on Friday, so that'll be fun. And then Saturday, I don't usually stream on Saturdays, unless I get a special request from, and I might get one, so we'll see. I'm gonna finish posting the schedule, but that's usually what I do, is late night Wednesday, Thursday, and then Sunday evening, so 8 p.m.-ish, which is actually ridiculously late at night Europe time, so. But, yeah. And I think we're gonna raid Brush for Hire, who is a mini painter, and he paints really cool miniatures, and then sometimes does game breaks to play various things. Let's see, I think we're gonna... he's painting... Oh, he's like painting a fork or something. we'll see what he's painting. He's pretty cool and nerdy, and a lot of fun to hang with. So I usually raid him because he's actually on at this time. All right, if you want to come along, good friend, let's do it. Otherwise, I will see you guys later. Bye. Okay, so we are gonna do this.